Funding for Applewise was provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, Kentucky Educational Television Fund for Independent Production, Appleshot Production and Educational Fund, and the Kentucky Arts Council.
It was the number one industry in this right around in this area. Coal mining down in the lower parts of the county. And Wise here in the immediate vicinity was strictly apple growing. That was what most of the people made their living. It was hard living, but it was a living.
Back in the 40s, I'd say 40s, there's 50-some growers. And just one by one, they got more money out of their land than selling it. But I talked to a guy the other day up at my house wanting to pick apples. He get $3,200 for a piece of property. Raised apples on it for years. The guy walked up to him back in the 70s, offered him $20,000 cash. What would you do? That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
He left. Gave him a deed to it and left. Just one big grower after another just left like that. Nobody take their place.
A lot of people died off, and some just went to other jobs where they make more money. Right where the orchard was growing and doing real good, they've seemed to coal. And they've either deep mined it or stripped it. And they got more money out of the royalty than they ever could have made in apples. And so they just had their orchard stripped out and got the money and moved out. Where you want to raise apples is high up in the mountain, where there's a good way for the frost to drift off. And also you got to have plenty of sunshine. If you plant them down to low ground, you'll have smut on them. In other words, they just stay moist, and there's a smut comes on the apple. We take and cut it on a slope, like that right there. Like that. Then we go to a golden delicious or red delicious tree, whatever we want to make this apple tree become, whatever we want. And we take you have to get the new growth. It's the 1-year-old growth. And you slide it together, like that right there. And then the bark has to be matched up right here on the rootstock and on the limb. It has to be matched. And the reason I'm cutting this off here, if you didn't cut it off, it'd make a bump, a big bump on the tree. Now you just take a paper tape and tape around that. I take these two buds off later and let the main top bud grow. We're supposed to plant it about right there, plant it about that deep. If you plant it that deep, you make a standing tree up here. Plant this deep, you got a semi-drawer.
Oh, it's springtime in the mountains, yeah, with the fishing hole just around the bend. And I ain't seen a better day, and I don't know when. Oh, it's springtime in the mountains again.
I guess since I was 7 or 8 years old, I used to work in the orchard, help pull spray hose, followed him along like a young'un always does her daddy, I guess. We always used to work 5 days a week, and on Saturdays we'd take off fishing. Back then, you know, we don't do that now. We can't get to go fishing now like we used to.
I was raised about, I'd say it's approximately a mile over down the mountain here. I was born in 1924, the 12th day of April. And I helped my dad when I got old enough in the orchard. And We used a burlap bag, put apples in, and you could handle them real easy in the bags, and you didn't bruise them. And then we poured them out in bins in just a common storage building, we call it. It's a building under the ground, 3 sides of it is under the ground. And we just put a bag up there and just slipped the bag out, and that didn't bruise the apples. And you could store so many more apples and pour them out, and you could have put them in boxes. He'd go all around and sell stores over in Jenkins, through the pound, Clintwood, and Coburn. But we had a lot of people come to the house and buy apples. There'd be people come there and buy them to can, you know, and make apple butter and apple sauce. Now people just buys a few bushels at a time.
Daddy raised apples 30-some years, so. But it's changed a lot since then. A whole lot on the spraying and everything. The pruning them different. And they sell different. Used to people come in and buy 8, 10, 12 bushels for a family. Now it's a gallon. See you tomorrow. And that's it. They want just enough to do today and a little bit tomorrow, and then the next day they'll come back and get some more. So the whole concept of it just complete flip-flop in 15 years. It used to be, it was how many bushels you could raise. Now it's how many big apples you can raise. Because you don't want no small apples. People want the biggest you got and the best. Don't care to pay for it.
The McIntosh usually this size, and the Cortland grows this size and larger. And that's the reason they developed this apple, to get a little bit more size on it. Because they couldn't get no size off a McIntosh. But this is, I guess you'd call it a souped up McIntosh, but its true name's a Cortland. It's a cross between Ben Davis and a McIntosh. Like busted. See how white that meat is? It's just as white as snow. And regular apples is more yellow inside. People likes that white meat apple. Another thing, whenever they take and put this in a fruit salad or anything, it won't get dark. It'll stay pretty white like that in a fruit salad. Where a lot of other apples will, when you slice them and put them out there, they'll start to turn dark. This apple will stay pretty white. My mother never did like this apple until she started making apple butter out of them this year. And she likes this better now to make apple butter than anything she's got. Because she says it makes a prettier, whiter applesauce. And it makes a better textured apple butter. We always pick over our apples. Pick over his McIntosh once, pick all the red ones, and then we'll go back in about 3 weeks and pick over them again, and that way we give them time to color up, get good color on them. People like some pretty and red. Everybody likes a pretty colored apple. That is a good apple right there. Got a good color about it, as you can see. Right. But I'm gonna eat this much here anyway. I say I don't like it, but I eat all of it anyway. Good juicy.
I'm fixing to go to Florida, and I thought I'd fix them one more good meal before I left. Of course, I do this all year, just about it. Some of my children thinks I do too much over here, but something I like to do, and I guess I'll just keep a doing it. We married in 41, and my husband started raising apples in 42. We've been married 54 years this fall. We sent 7 children to school raising apples. Now, when Christmas come, they didn't get a big Christmas present, you know. Well, back then, people just didn't do that. But they survived.
Put that building down there is the latter part of 1957. We sold apples down there up till they changed and put the 4-lane up here. And so I hit it lucky. I bought this little place here beside the road, and we rebuilt and built cold storage and a place to sell out of and a place to live in. We live here 6 months, and then we live 6 months in the orchard.
Could I help you ladies now? I've handled it many a day when Ransom would be in the field. We lived right in there. And I know I'd have my young'uns supper cooked, but it wasn't like it is now. There's more business here now than there was then. And I had a door right there, and I could step right into the door in there, and I'd always have my children's supper cooked when they come in from school.
After the children got big enough they was all in school, and she didn't have to end to them today, she started out to help and sell then. She done more work than any woman in Wise County.
Hello, Ransom. How you doing, buddy?
Ransom just wants to be over here all the time. I mean, he feels like that it's part of his ownership, I think. He loves to be here. And I think he'll live longer by being over here and just doing what he wants to do. Because if he stay at the house, he eat himself to death. And so he comes over here every morning. He comes about 7:30 in the morning and don't come home till about 6:30 or 7 at night. He stays. He gives them the whole day. Of course, the boys is in it now. It's not our business. We own the property, but they own the business. And it's the baby brother and the oldest brother. The other boy works on a strip job.
We just had an agreement fixed up, just split that down the middle. Of course, I furnished all the equipment. I figure next year he'll probably be some on equipment next year. This is his first year. It's my 15th year. 15 years is a long time to raise apples. Been a rough 15 years. I'm lucky I've not been wiped out in every year all the way.
It's an uncertain job. Sometimes you do good, sometimes you don't, just according to the crop. Now, Ransom was in the apple business I don't know how many years, and he only had 1 year complete failure. We must have not been in the business long, hadn't been married long. And I know we only got giveaway stuff. You know what I mean by giveaway stuff? We got giveaway stuff one time in our life because we had a complete failure. Now, we didn't go on relief, we didn't go on welfare, but they was giving away food, and we got that one time, and that's the only time we've ever had to have a handout from the government. And I'm thankful for that.
I run a deep mines one time about 2 years. When I had an apple failure, I got into it, and I had to stay with it a year longer than I wanted to. But I went back to the orchard, and I had a fella tending my orchard while I was working to run the deep mine. But then we strip mine 7 years, and Roy, he started back into it. We had tractors and sprays and plenty of boxes and cold storage.
I'd say 10 years, his trees laid out. They just about went to no return point. Either chop them down, start all over again. But I know I had to have something on the side to make it, so I left them there. And so the first 2 years, I never made a dime off of it. My father-in-law helped me a lot. He drove a tractor. I done the spraying, the whole spray gun. Sprayed up. It was about leak as much as it was putting on the tree. Finally got another little pull spray. Got it fixed up, done a little better that way. Then finally got into a speed spray and a bigger tractor. Saved a little money that way, but you invest a lot. It comes out in the long run. That really, I'd say, the more typical reason why a lot of people quit. They never had the money hardly to put into a U-type sprayer to keep up with the Joneses, they call it. And here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 apples in one wad. I'm gonna leave this one, take off that one, leave the best apple out of them 4 that now my son don't pull off many as I do.
I mean, it's hard to make a living at it. You have to know a lot of stuff, a lot of chances you have to take. An orchard like this is awful expensive to put up. You know, some people think you just, you go out, plant trees, sit at the house, and drink RC Cola, eat a moon pie, watch trees grow up, come out here and pick apples, and it's not that way. It really isn't. There's a lot of work involved in keeping trees look this nice and bear fruit like this.
You spray for one insect, you kill another one, and the one you're killing is one that's eating the one you're trying to kill. So what do you accomplish? Nothing. You're back to ball one. Just like these red mice I was talking about on these leaves. Eat that little brown place in that leaf right there. In that back part of the leaf, you'll see the impression. See that right there? Can you zoom in on that? Yep. That is a tint leaf miter. I didn't spray for them much. Some people call them sort of a defoliating caterpillar type. It lays the egg in there and it hatches out in between the two layers of the leaves. And there's millions of them in the air in the summertime when they're flying, little black gnats. Yeah, that's something else I didn't spray for. I sprayed if I killed them, I'm gonna kill something else. They can do that much damage, you gotta learn to live with them. That ain't how pretty the leaves is. If you're gonna poison somebody down the road.
Roy is a little disabled. Well, he don't act like he's disabled, but he only has one eye and one kidney. And people that knew that wouldn't hire him. I don't know of a job anywhere that Roy could make a living at that they'd hire him.
That seemed to be done right there.
Ronald used to be in the coal business, and he just sort of decided that wasn't for him, I reckon, and he made good money, but he wasted what he got. Now he's trying this, and I hope it'll tally out for him, but when they're gone, I don't think they've got a child that would carry on.
I may fool with apples a little bit when I get older, you know, if I ever have a piece of property and stuff. And I suspect I'll still live in the area. I might fool with apples, but as far as doing it for a living, I really doubt it. You know, I don't think my dad ever thought he would be working apples. I mean, he probably thought he would always be working in the coal and strip jobs and stuff, and he thought he'd tinker with it, I guess, or, you know, had to do something to make a living.
I've been picking apples. Shoot, I picked apples. I guess when I was 12, 13, when Daddy was raising apples. A long time ago. I never dreamed I'd be an old apple farmer. That's the last thing on my mind. But then when I got out of school, you couldn't even buy a job. It was sitting there. There's a lot of slavery, so I went to work. So, you either work or you starve. Get something else? It's a tough business to be into. Because you never know from one year to the next what the public wants. Like this year, some apples didn't sell. People quit cooking. It was too hot. All my Rambos I picked up, I dumped them. About 250 bushels. Just dumped them. I dumped them the other day up yonder. They take enough room in the cool, and you bring them outside, and they just split that hot air. Take cold weather to sell apples anyway. If you don't get it just right, it'll break off about to break that apple off. See right there's the apple. There. Right there's fruit bud for next year.
This will be the last crop of apples that we'll be able to get off of. Because Roy, he's renting it from another outfit. He's renting it from VIC, a coal company. And that way, that'll be that many apple trees gone.
This orchard right here is about 6-year-old. This is my last season in here because this place is going to be stripped for the coal down underneath it. 80 foot of the dirt done been moved here, done been put back. There's 80 foot of spoil where you get down to where the line seam was. And then there's 30 foot of solid rock down to the first seam of coal. That coal will go up a good price for somebody to spend that much money. One outweighs the other. I know every tree in here. I picked in every tree in here. I pruned every tree in here. This is what we call a central leader system. That's straight up, all the way to the top. We left the set of limbs here, 3 star shaped. The other set of limbs started right here. I cut them out because I wanted 75% of my apples on the bottom limb. And I wanted light in here penetration, so I left the set here at 7 foot, 6.5, 7 foot. So these limbs will pull over, but these are broke over now. Then I went up about 11 foot, left another set, and exactly 2 foot, left another one and stopped it. Don't let them just sprinkle out. So now, I've done a lot of work in this orchard. A lot of back-breaking job. And I hate to lose it. It's gonna get 20 degrees here Sunday night. And that's gonna spoil them. They'll freeze, and when you touch one, it won't pop. You can mash it right now, and it pops. Listen to it. Hear it pop? Okay, when apple freezes, when you mash it, it's a sponge. Then when it falls out, that's a big hole right there, and it'll rot. Can't fool with it.
You handle them 4 or 5 times, you know, you wear them out. You really do, you know. And you know, every box, you handle 10,000 bushel apples, but you probably handle 50,000 because you've handled them 5 or 6 times, you know. I don't mind, I like to pick apples, you know. I mean, I like to pick apples now, but when you start handling them and carrying them, that's when it wears you out.
Normally, if this apple had been good, I'd have picked them in the orchard and put them in these plastic bags. So closed them up, set them in the cooler. But see, we have to go through them by hand. It's a lot of labor. It takes a big piece of hail to do that hole right there. I hate to bend out in it. How about it hurting? I don't know what time of moon that was hit on, whether it's going to heal up or rot or what. Well, it's going to cut down on a lot of big apples for Christmas because the big ones is up in the top of the trees. Always the big apples in the top. And the top of the trees got all the force of the hail. The underneath apples, usually the smallest ones, they get less sunshine, they're usually smaller. And the hail got slowed down by the time it got to them. You take 40 or 45 mile-an-hour winds driving that hail. One side of the tree got whipped, and the other side sort of got sheltered from it. And it come from the morning sun side, it come from the east, the hail did. It didn't come from the west like it used to. So on the east side, you got bigger apples where the morning sun hits them, always. And that's the side that got hit. So just, most of the big apples is going to be out there instead of at Christmas time at premium price, they're going right now for cheap price. So we're afraid they might not keep. It wasn't going to be that many apples, so we had to do something, make ends meet. Had to spend money to make money. It's going to grow mold on it. What little bit I had. But it's going to work out. It's going to, you don't make it all in 1 month or 2 months. It's going to take 2 or 3 years to see what you can handle, what you want to buy, what you don't want to buy, what you can pay, and what you can sell it for reasonable. Because there's some stuff you don't want to handle. You can get burnt. I'm talking scorched. Very easy. But keep one of us on the road. Ronnie's on the road most of the time. So we got to do some more investment in a forklift next. Just might have to have one because the back won't stand it. So take it one day at a time. One day at a time. That's all a fellow can do.
Birds are singing, hallelujah. The grass is greening, hallelujah. Springtime in the mountains again. Flowers growing, hallelujah. The rivers flowing, hallelujah. Springtime in the mountains again. Oh, it's springtime in the mountains again. With the fishing pole just around the bend. And I ain't seen a better day in a sunny. Hallelujah, springtime in the mountains again. Birds are loving. Hallelujah. Bees are buzzing. Hallelujah, springtime in the mountains again. Oh, it's springtime in the mountains again. With the fishing hole just around the bend. And I ain't seen a better day and I don't know when. Oh, it's springtime in the mountains again.
Funding for Applewise was provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, Kentucky Educational Television Fund for Independent Production, Appleshop Production and Educational Fund, and the Kentucky Arts Council.